generally speaking, is when people hear about things that have happened in the neighborhood, what they do is back off, lock up, put more locks on the door. Absolutely the opposite has to happen. They have to come together as a neighborhood.
How do you go about engaging your community? As a parent, if I really want to create the environment to protect my child, it's not just going to happen in my home, but it also has to happen outside of the home. So what do you recommend as far as engaging my neighbors or, even the community as a whole, even broader than just my neighborhood, into protecting our children?
And my mom and dad taught me to be a blessing in other people's lives. And I went, whoa, no wonder you're so happy. You've got wonderful parents. That's what every child needs, are parents that teach them to be a blessing in other people's lives, including their own. And that's how they become blessing for others. Barbara came into our office and she was very upset. And she said, you got to do something. Because we were a citizens crime prevention committee that we had organized and gotten a grant for. And we had, these were citizens that just took it upon themselves.
So did you guys work directly with law enforcement? Were you backed up by anybody in the city or the community?
Yes,
oh.
We were. We had assistance from the Office of Criminal Justice Planning.
Okay.
And the Office of Criminal Justice Planning helped us get the grant.
Wow.
As citizens, we put together a crime and violence prevention committee to go out and organize volunteer organizations within each city in our county. And within 6 years, we had 27 cities with crime prevention committees that were working to empower people in the neighborhoods.
That's awesome.
So it was kind of like a little octopus that put out little tentacles, and got these people going in these different cities. It can be done. We did it. The only opposition we had at that time, which was 35 years ago, was the police departments. They told us that if we empowered citizens, they would become vigilantes. We said, really? I'm sorry, but they won't become vigilantes. They want safe neighborhoods for their children. And we worked in high crime neighborhoods. We worked in all kinds of neighborhoods. Never once did we have any problem with vigilantes. So it was kind of a nothing burger here. So then when we started having a lot of successes, then they jumped on our bandwagon real quick. But that took a couple of years because we had to prove ourselves. But one day Barbara comes in and she's irate, and what she's angry about, the city that she lived in wanted to put a fence all the way around Davis Park because it was overrun with drug dealers, and they didn't have the manpower to stop them. And the whole park was a mess with drug dealers. And she said, why can't they get the police out there? And she went on and on and on. And we said, whoa, wait. Let's get the neighbors that live around the park together. You guys go sit in the park, take down driver's license numbers, take down descriptions, because the police need information. Well, to make a long story short, because this wasn't easy, they would walk the dog, and they took even night, time to go out sometimes and walk a dog and take down descriptions and license numbers and whatever, and dates. So anyway, it took about 3 months, 4 months maybe, and they cleaned up the neighborhood because the police had information, and they started arresting people. Okay, well, Barbara was so happy, and the neighbors were ecstatic. So they decided to go back to City Council, and they said, City Council, you were going to spend money to put up a fence around our park, and we cleaned it up. We want the money that you were going to use for the fence. We want new swing sets and tables for the park. Their request was granted.
Wow.
Well, her name was Barbara Vigil that led this. I mean, you find a gem like Barbara Vigil, there's no stopping her. She became mayor of the city about 8 years later.
Wow.
That's how people used to evolve from the neighborhood up to become mayors, council people, and they still do for the most part, because they learn how to negotiate with each other. They learn how to communicate. Somehow we haven't got that today in Washington. We have a lot of headbutting. People can't even listen to each other. That's got to change. And it's going to be we the people that change it. It certainly isn't going to be the government. The government cannot fix us. We the people are the power, not our elected officials. This is the goal here, and it's about prevention. It means we have to get in touch with the people that are living around us, because you want to be the first to know if there's a problem, not the last to know if there's a problem. If there's a burglary down the street or in the apartment, you want to know about it. So you need to know your neighbors. And most of us don't want to do it alone, and I advise you not to do it alone, because you make yourself more vulnerable if you are by yourself and you are trying to stir the pot. But you just be subtle, meet a few neighbors. Women are incredible organizers because they're concerned about their children. So I wrote this little booklet. It's called My First Steps to a Safe Neighborhood. And I'll tell you exactly how to do it. It's in this book, and you can get them on our website, safekidsnow.com. Please, please get involved. Get involved in your school. What's going on in your school? What are they teaching your children? You ought to be the first to know, not the last. What's happening in your neighborhood? You ought to be the first to know what's going on. Is somebody being burglarized or attacked down the block and you don't know about it? You are that much more vulnerable. I can tell you for a fact. And if you don't use your God-given intuition and your instincts, I can't tell you how many women said to me, I knew I shouldn't have let that person in the door. He wanted to use the phone, and I let him in, and she was raped.
Wow.
I knew I shouldn't have done this and that and the other thing. Couldn't have gotten in that elevator, because as he ran out of the elevator, he stole my purse. They had gut feelings. Listen to your gut feelings. You can protect yourself, but above that, you need to protect those children. The way to go is individual responsibility, that you and I have the power to take back our neighborhoods, to strengthen our families, to change our communities. We can do all of that.